Hey, so we're back with interview number 2 with Colin Bethel Jr. Just getting to know who he is and what he does and why he do what he do for his community more so. So we're gonna just reflect back on, after losing your friends to senseless killing and the environment and the influence. Uh, what, how did and what did that make you want to do?
Um, Being that I've lost a decent amount of friends due to environmental situations, uh, a lot of what I do or what I want to do is, help that community, not even just that community, help communities all around uh, to better itself as a community. So you give younger generations the opportunity to have a life outside of the normal. You know, they don't have to follow the same footsteps as their parents, and things of that sort.
Okay.
So what I do is basically to help the young generation have more opportunity.
And how do you do that? Is that based on an influence point of view?
Um, it can be based on influence. I know like a lot of people. I'm pretty known, so people can see what I do. I have people that follow behind me in my footsteps. So this could be influential based because a lot of what I do is, it's also to better me, but we have people watching you in the background. It kind of betters them in a sense. So.
Valid. Now we gonna get a little deep as we did in our first interview. And we're gonna address a particular part in your junior year. So, you had all you have everything that you want to have done. You want to put together things. You want to help the community. You want to help make sure you're more influential to the youth. And with all of that going on, and your birthday is here, you get a phone call. And that phone call is devastating. How did that affect your mentality since you were in a good place? School going good, sports going good. How did that affect your mentality at that time?
It it was something. It was a slap to the face. It was not necessarily something I haven't experienced before, because it was something I had already seen before. But I'll say the difference was in my mentality. It was that I didn't fall back into this bad place again. Being that it was another call similar to the call I got on my 13th birthday. But I just used it, as more of a driving force, because when I was 13, that's something I had to learn to do after being in that dark place and just giving up. I didn't necessarily have to do that with this call because I knew how to just use that as a driving force and not allow it to bring me down. So, yeah, that was like the change in mindset.
And to know that, she was pretty much fighting for her life, how did that drive you?
I mean, could say.
I mean, we could be loose here. Like, how did you go in when you went into practice, when you went into games, how was your mindset?
Uh, Personally, I think I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really sure. My mindset was like, I don't know. I just wanted to win. So, however I went into the game, it was just with the mentality that I want to win at all costs. So that was kind of how I went into every game. I mean, practices. We had the whole COVID thing going on, so there was a lot to worry about there. And it wasn't like necessarily a win thing. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily like a win thing in practice. It was more of a stay healthy and prepare for the game. Being that we were so short of players with the whole COVID thing, not a lot of people were able to play. So the main key thing in practice was mostly just learn and stay healthy so you could play in the game.
Stay safe protocol,
Yeah.
pretty much.
And then in the games, it was just give it all you got and win.
So, being the leader and the role model that you are, especially at your school, practically starting like your sophomore year, people begin to recognize who you were and what you stood for. How did you feel the need to make an impact with, an impact to your school, your team, with everything, with the chaos going on at home?
Well, since I had got to that school, I kind of made an impact as is because, I mean, most people might not want to say it, but I'll say it. Being that I'm an African American at a majority Hispanic school, you don't really expect them to, know much. You think they just there to play sports, and that's the only reason we're here. But I was different because I had bigger goals, and it wasn't just all based on sports. I was a great academic student. I cared about school. That was like my first priority. Sports came second. So,
What did you choose to do? Because the majority of schools now have, programs and magnets of that sort that you can get involved with to help before graduation enter into your adulthood. So what was it that you chose to do?
I chose to go the medical route, being that majority of my family have a lot, in the sense of medical, and it's something I like. It's something I enjoy. There's a lot of careers you can pursue in medical, and I understood that medical was a job that's always needed.
Mm-hmm.
So you will never go without a job. Sports isn't forever. You got like 10, 15 years at max in sports, so you got to make the best of that. But in the medical profession, you can work 20, 30 years, 30, 40 years,
Until you decide you want to retire.
Yeah, pretty much. And
was there a specific place or career you wanted?
Yeah, I want to be a neuroscientist, or a neurologist, any of those. Because, being my mom, being epileptic, I wanted to understand more what she was going through, and if there was a possible way I can help her. So I was choosing, I was really focused on being a neuro, whichever. And I haven't lost that focus. I just know that takes years, and I have to find something in the meantime to do while I go to school for that, because that's 8 plus 10 plus years of schooling. So right now, I still have it there. You know, it's not something I forgot about. I'm just also working on finding another medical career that's something I could do in 4 years, and you know, work until I can finish school as a neuroscientist, or a neurologist, because that's where, you know, the real money lies.
You talking about Queens?
Yeah, so it's not something I forgot about.
I mean, it's good to hear that the choice that you made really shows that you are family based, you know, first. You've been a great role model to some. Another thing I wanted to kind of touch bases with, since you were in that particular program in school, were there any other programs that you were involved with?
I was in television production freshman year.
Yeah, no, but I want to get into the people.
Well, I'm assuming that you're referring to Pit Crew. I wasn't in that my sophomore freshman year. You know, the program started my sophomore year. It was a new program, and I already had my classes picked, so I couldn't get the course. But I did get it junior year. So basically, Pit Crew is peers inclusion, peers as partners in learning. So basically, what we're doing, we don't like to consider it as, you know, a helper or sense like that. We like to consider it as just a peer there with the student who's has a disability or of any sort and need some type of assistance, and we're there just
to support
student, you know, because a lot of children are shy to say anything, you know, when it's a teacher, but they'll talk more when it's a student. So we that's like the course, the main key of the course. You know, we help other peers.
I mean, how did you like it? I mean, what did you learn from it?
Well, last year it was harder to, you know, really grasp the idea of the whole course, because we're all at home and, you know, over the phone, not a lot of kids are gonna say anything. So a lot of times you're just there talking. It's really like you're talking to yourself, because they're listening, but they don't want to say anything.
But the time that you had the hands-on.
Well, yeah, this year we've been hands-on. It's been good. I'm actually paired with a couple of football players, actually.
Okay.
So, you know, we teammates on the field, but then we also help each other, you know, in the classrooms. So that's been a good experience, because you really never know who needs help. So being that I'm in a position to help is something I do. And I've had 3-4 students, really, 4 peers that I help with, but I entirely help with the whole class. You know, if anybody has questions, I help as much as I can. You know.
So you're trying to make sure that you can reach out to as many as you can and help as many as you can, which is a wonderful thing, and I'm sure they really appreciate that. So I'll move on to, you know, my next question, which is, we hear about the peers, but tell us, what you have done over the last 5 years. And that's in the sense of We already spoke on peers, but friends, teammates, family members. What have you been able to do to help as far as encouraging, and especially during this COVID, and helping stay focused and directed?
Like I said earlier, I have a lot of people that follow behind me in my footsteps, so majority of the time I'm a leader by example with the things I do. I always take into accountability that I have people watching me, and I have basically number one person watching me has got to be my little cousin. We live in the same house. We go to school. I take him to school every day, so he's like that. The one person that I make sure that what I do, everything I do, is in a positive way. So when he do things, they're in a positive way, But I also have other friends that are in environments that aren't necessarily the best. But when they're around me, it's like a pause from reality. They aren't worried about this, worried about that. They're just there, enjoying the time. Getting their mind together, staying focused, and that's like something I've really been doing for a while, actually.
So, with so many that you've had to, not say too many, but out of your teammates, what has been one of the toughest teammates you've had to mentor? I mean, you don't have to give us the name. You could just build a character. What has been one of the toughest ones? Because, you're very quiet, but you're also a hothead, too.
So, one of the toughest ones probably have to be one of mine. Yeah, it's a teammate, and
I'm also his partner in pit crew. So he's also one of the teammates that I work with in his class. It's definitely been a tough one, because he likes to lose focus a lot, and obviously I know that there's other things going on at home.
That environment situation you were saying.
Yeah, so I know it's things that he has going on at home, and I try my best to, make sure when he's with me, he's not necessarily thinking about those. He's just thinking about whatever we're doing at that moment. It could be classwork, it could be football practice, football game. You just be out enjoying ourselves. That's probably my toughest one because he's kind of rebellious. So it's like you have to drill things in his head, because other than that, it just go in one ear and go out the other. So you kind of have to be repetitive with him, but I don't necessarily mind.
Okay.
It doesn't bother me, but it definitely is one of the toughest ones that I've encountered ever.
Okay. Well, we touched a lot of bases from the beginning to the end, and a lot of people, and especially a lot of children. I constantly speak on the fact that what the older generation doesn't understand is that we're at a point where they don't listen to the older generation or feel comfortable to even talk to the older generation, even their own parents. But it's much easier to speak to a peer, friend, teammate, to express themselves, so that way, if that person has that positive note, as you do, can help change the environment from now and then. You can't change where they live, but you can change where they hang. You could change their routine, which gives them a different view to say, I do have a chance to get out of here.
Yeah.
The goal is to be successful. So, what is it that you would be? What is it that you still have left on your list that you want to accomplish before graduating? Because, bangers is what you do.
Yeah.
What is it that you're trying to accomplish before graduation? Even though it'll continue after you graduate, what is something that you want to do? You don't have to put the name out there. Because again, we gotta play safe.
Yeah, I'm in a process of starting up a nonprofit organization. Obviously, I can't say the name right now, but that's one thing that I want to get accomplished before I graduate, or by the time I graduate, because I want that to not be something that that's here in the community, but also I could take with me elsewhere. And I wanted to be a startup to something I've been working at for, per se, the last 5 years. And, I got my mom here, and it's something she enjoyed doing, so it's something we both enjoy doing. And it's a way to keep us close, being that I would probably go to school out of state.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's something that's going to keep us tight, keep us in communication often, a lot. So that's something I want to get off the ground before I leave, before I graduate.
You've had supporters, and you've had non-supporters. But has that stopped you from doing anything?
No, I don't really pay attention necessarily to what people have to say negatively. I mean, I take it as corrective criticism for the most part, but then you have some people that's just being obnoxious. So, I take some and I use it, and then I take others and then I just toss it out the window, because some things are just better left unsaid.
Oh.
You can say some people just say some things that shouldn't be said, or isn't the right place to be said. So I don't necessarily feel like, I feel like when people say things like that, they obviously don't see what you see.
Mm-hmm.
And that's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people blame the communities that other kids are in, or the way they live, on the children. I don't necessarily think that's fair, because not every child, has the opportunity to go out and see other things. They're used to seeing what is there in their household, and it's something that they can't really prevent unless they have a way to get out. A lot of kids don't have a way to get out. That's like in the good relations that could be like with racism. Like people say, oh, racism is a thing that's taught. A newborn baby is going to be born racist. That's something that they have to learn. That's something that they see at home. And that kind of applies the same way as with kids in poverty. There's something that they see at home. That's something that they learn.
And you are a kid out of poverty, and never have you let that stop you.
Yeah.
So, question: everything that you've done has come out of your own pockets, as well as your, supporters that you have.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't mind. I don't mind spending my money on things that I love to do. Or I appreciate the support from others that I get. Because obviously they see something that others don't see. But like I was saying, I don't really mind spending my money or our money on things that we love to do. Because, my mom is also a big part of this. It's not only just me, and my little cousin also a big part of this. So it's not only just me. They come up with ideas. They come up with plans. Everything's just pretty much like, it's like whatever they say is like, oh, is it?
It's like green light.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go.
Yeah, so, a lot of things come through them, actually, more so than me. Because I also have a lot of things
that you have to get done, and you're trying to make sure that it get, well, we are trying to make sure that it get accomplished. And it really, it's heartwarming to even know that the visions are so similar to, even if you're in school or I'm at work, we're communicating about doing something. And for you, I'm gonna say it because I know you're not that type of bragger person, but you have given back to so many kids, to your school, to your family, that has more value than what it cost. To be able to give kids shoes, clothing, when you're in sports, they can't afford cleats, or their cleats are not good, and you got 3 pair at home, you don't mind. You've given away a lot of things that some kids were very thankful for because they couldn't. And to also not be embarrassed when every sport sent out that little, can you support the team? So for you to take the initiative to see the 2 or 3 people that could not afford to contribute, to do that, what made you do that?
It's simply just being a good person. I mean, like you were saying, this is mostly like on my team, so these people I know, I know the things that's going on in their life, and I understand that, they probably aren't in a position to assist or help the team in a way, and I'm just there, like, I'm in a position where I can help the team, I can help you, and I can help others. So it's like, if I can help others while also just helping the team, I have no problem with doing that.
So it was just kind of like I got this person and I got this person.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like over
really,
$300.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really.
The money didn't play a factor to you.
Yeah, it's just it was to help them, to understand that they're not alone in this sense. And I understand where you're coming from because I've also been there. But it's also just, helping the team in a way,
And that was very brave of you to just, as you indicated, being a leader, you had to step up. And stepping up also let them know, hey, I'm here for you. I'm here for you if you need me. So now that we know who Colin is, the background, I mean, it's a lot more that people may not know. If you know him, then you know. If you don't, he pretty much gave you the best that he could give you, because he's not, he's still a private person, but a very big heart. With that being said, what do you see is needed right now for our youth, our graduates, and, just playing a part in it? Just sum up Colin for us.
Guidance. A big problem with our youth right now is guidance. They don't have most of our youth don't have anyone to help push them in the right way or in the right direction. You know, they're kind of just, the platform they're laid out is mostly something that's been going on for generations, and that's a big problem with our generation. Actually, is they don't break the curse of their own generation.
Hey.
So, I'm at this moment, I'm actually breaking the curse of my generation. I'm
Yes,
doing
you
things
are.
that a lot of people before me didn't do or didn't take the opportunity to do. So, that's a key thing in what we need in our generation would be guidance. You know, it could be simple things.
Opportunities.
Yeah, it could be simple things like an opportunity to do something with yourself, and that's something that I plan on assisting with. So that's gonna be a key thing.
A key thing of your goal. So, what you're telling them at the end of the day, since that is a key goal, what are you telling them at the end of the day?
Basically, I'm saying that I'm here for you, and I'm never gonna stop, never gonna give up. You know, I'm here. Obviously, I was sent here to assist people and help people, so that's what I plan to do.
All right. So I guess we'll just let the rest explain itself.
Yeah.
So this particular interview was done audio because there were a lot of emotions going on, and we want to just protect everybody, and make them feel like a safe place. And this is an example of just that. Some people don't like to talk because they're on camera. They don't really open up. But when you place them in a safe place, you might just find out a little more than you thought. So with that being said, y'all look out for Colin Bethel Jr. As he said, he's here. He's not going nowhere. So you'll see a lot more of him. That platform has been set, and we will watch what God has sent him to do.
I think you said it all. Y'all just make sure you be on the lookout and be prepared for what I got coming.
Say less. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.